have got to say that one thing I've learned going through this cancer process is that nobody wants to do chemo. Nobody wants to do radiation. Nobody wants to do surgery. I mean, why would anybody want to do those things, you know? Maybe some people do, but for the most part, many people don't, and it's understandable. But one thing I've learned, and now one thing I'm seeing in a handful of people that I have known, is that if you don't do if you don't make the hard choices in the beginning, the cancer, meaning the chemo, etc., the cancer has a chance to spread and proliferate throughout the body. And then later on, when faced with your own mortality, it's like, okay, now I'll do the chemo, now I'll do the hard stuff. I know one person that's working for, and my big suspicion about why that's working, meaning she did complementary stuff, she did all natural stuff, she was stage 4, and then she did chemo, and she also had surgery, and now she seems to be cancer free, which is incredible. But I think that she's the exception, and the thing that I'd add to that is that she seems to have endless money in terms of like high dose vitamin C and like all kinds of complementary therapies that you really have to have a lot of money to be able to take advantage of, because insurance doesn't cover that stuff. And some of those things are hundreds of dollars per treatment, and you have to just continue to get those treatments. So for most people, that's not in the realm of possibility for them to take advantage of. So I'm talking about most people. And I have seen numerous people who didn't want to do Western allopathic medicine, spent thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on naturopathic medicine, complementary stuff, integrative stuff, whatever you want to call it, basically the non-standard of care. And then they progressed, the cancer progressed, they're stage 4, and then suddenly at the end they think, I'm gonna do chemo, now I'll do radiation, now I'll do surgery, whatever the thing is, and it doesn't work. Basically with chemo, maybe surgery would still work, but these are young women, well under 40, definitely under 45, and they die. So this is what I'm seeing. And I knew nothing about cancer when I got diagnosed. I didn't know anything. I knew my grandpa died from cancer in his mid-70s, late 70s when I was a small kid. And besides that, I didn't know anything about it. So I have a friend who does not want to hear anything I have to say about cancer, which to each their own, fine, you know, we get to say what we want to listen to and what we don't want to listen to. But I've done a lot of research and I've been through it myself, and I'm not a doctor, and I don't claim to be a doctor, but she doesn't trust doctors. She won't even listen to anything any doctors have to say. Although she's had two naturopathic, I wouldn't say doctors. One's an osteopath. I don't even know if that's a doctor. And the other was an energy worker. And they both told her that if she doesn't prioritize her health in a very serious way right now, she's going to be dead in a year. She's got 2 small kids, under 8, 2 kids under 7. And she is continuing on to not trust Western medicine or doctors, not trust me because I trust doctors. And I don't know. It's just hard to see. This is someone who's been really close to me for 20 plus years, and we have very different opinions about the best way to go. When I started out, I did natural medicine. I spent $20,000 on things that didn't work, and doesn't mean it goes that way for everybody, but it goes that way for most people. She's got a 14% chance of survival for the next 5 years. 14%. That's with doing the treatments. That's if she does the allopathic medicine. So I don't even know what the percent is when you don't do the allopathic medicine. But I feel like it's so important for people to know that the chemo needs to be done in the beginning, and then you do the naturopathic stuff after that. All the complementary therapies, everything that you can do, the coffee enemas and the high dose vitamin C and the mistletoe and the apricot kernels, and it's an endless array of things available in the naturopathic world as far as like all the complementary integrative stuff. So I didn't know that, and now I'm just starting to see, well, I didn't know that, and for 6 months what I did was I tried to do all the natural stuff, because of course, like, nobody wants to lose their hair, age 10 years, dry out completely, like, basically almost die, because that's what chemo does. It just shy of kills you. Of course, nobody wants to go through that, but for me, after 6 months of not seeing good enough results, I was like, I gotta change gears. I have to change gears. I have a kid, she was 9 at the time, and she's 13 now, and luckily I'm still alive, and as far as I know, I'm cancer free. So I'm doing my best. I have had a hormone positive, triple positive breast cancer. So with the estrogen positive, I'm doing my best to avoid anything estrogenic. I'm a little bit riding a thin line as far as not doing the endocrine therapy, which is controversial to say the least, probably maybe even stupid. I'm taking it sporadically. I still haven't really found out, like, having my ovaries removed takes out a large portion of the estrogen. It doesn't remove all of it, because estrogen's still produced in the brain, I think in the endocrine system. But like, removing the ovaries has removed a big part of the estrogen production in my body. So I'm trying to find out what the data says for someone in my position who's had an estrogen driven cancer having their ovaries out, and like what difference that makes, because it's just really hard for me with the side effects of the letrozole. But anyway, so that's a whole different thing that I'm a little bit freestyling on, and I'm willing to just decide as I go. I just need more information to figure out how I'm going to proceed with doing the endocrine therapy or not. But I am so grateful I went through the chemo. I'm still not that grateful I went through the radiation. I mean, I feel like I'm dealing with, a lot of issues, but I did it. At least I did it. And I think doing that stuff early is so important. And maybe some doctor explained that to me, but also maybe they didn't. I didn't know until I have now seen. I know 4 people who waited too long to do the chemo, were progressed within stage 4, and then died. Like I said, they're women under 40. So if anybody needs to hear this, I really hope that whoever needs to hear this hears this, and just get through it. It's hard. The whole thing is hard. The whole thing's terrible. But what's good about it is that there's a lot of people out there who've gone through it, and a lot of people you can talk to, a lot of people with more information, with more knowledge and experience than you have, or than someone has who's just entering this conversation. I mean, I knew nothing, and it's not like I know everything now, but I'm 4 years in, and I know a lot. I know something, I should say. Maybe it's not even a lot, but I know something from my own experience, from observing people, from, doing my own research. So I don't know if this can help anybody, but I hope it does. And I feel strongly about it, obviously, really, especially if you have kids. You just you got to do the right thing and trust the freaking doctors. Maybe there's some shitty doctors out there that get paid. Maybe all of them get paid by pharmaceutical companies. I don't know, but that's the best information that we have. And I just, they're the ones doing the studies. You have to go with what the middle of the road path is. How could you just go with these extremists talking about I don't know, just thinking that all of them are trying to kill everybody? How is this possible? It seems just so juvenile. So anyway, end rant.